architecture also. So this is the instance we have recently installed, batch 34.
34.
Okay, I connected to that. Yeah, how to connect to SQL Server? Just disconnect it, click on connect button.
Okay.
So whatever the instance, you provide that instance. If you didn't remember the instance, click here, click on browse for more, go to database engine. There you can see all the instances you have installed in your computer. So click on the server you want to connect, click on OK. Then click on trust server certificate, click on connect. You will be connected to the instance. Okay. So here, if you open these databases, you can see three types of databases generally. One is system databases. So these are system database. Another thing, if you have installed any sample databases, you can see sample databases. Right now, there are no sample databases. And another thing is user databases. Except the system databases, whatever you see, those are user databases.
Except system database.
Yes.
Okay.
So user data, this one I have created. If you want to create your own database, only thing you need to provide is, so there are two types of functionalities available in CSSMS. One is command wise, another one is graphical wise. So graphical wise, if you want to create a database, right click on databases, new database, click on new database, provide any database name. Okay, DB1 I am giving, click on OK, the database will be created. DB1. If you want to create a database through command line, simple query, create database name, Gaurav, DB. That's it. Execute here, click on execute, database will be created. Refresh here. This is Gaurav DB. Okay. So two ways to create database. One is graphical version, another one is command based. So if you create a database and go to open it, so you can see tables, views, all these are objects inside database. Okay. So data in a database will be stored in the form of tables. In relational databases, so data will be stored in the form of tables. So inside table, you can see rows and columns. So rows, we call them as a tuples. Columns, we call them as attributes. Okay. So this is database. Let me open my PPT. So any database, this is database architecture we are going to discuss. Any database is created with at least two files. If you want to create a database, you need at least two files. One file to store data. One file to store logging information.
Logging information to this database.
Inside database, you will find two types of files. One is called data file. That data file will store actual data. Another file is log file.
Log file means inside that the logging information will be to this particular database. No?
Yes. So inside this database, for example, I am opening this Gaurav database. Right click, properties. If you go to properties, go to files. So you can see two files. One is data file. This is data file. This is log file. Okay. So inside data file, you will store data. Inside log file, logging information will be stored. What is logging information? Let me tell you. So for example, so just assume you are residing in a gated community. So any guest enter into gated community, his personal record will be saved in log file, right? Logbook.
Correct.
So in front of gate, one watchman will be there. So watchman notes the information about the visitor, serial number, visitor name,
number like those are.
coming from, the purpose of visit, okay, time,
Yeah.
signature,
Number.
okay, all these details, number, phone number, correct.
Right, right.
So all these details he will be collected for the safety of. So if something happens in the apartment, to verify this data, to maintain track, so they will collect all this information.
Right.
So whoever enters into the apartment first, they need to log this information. Otherwise, they cannot be entered into database. I mean apartment, right?
Correct.
So in the same way, whatever the information you give to database, first you need to log that information. Without logging, data cannot enter into database.
Right.
Okay. So this concept is called as write, hide, logging. So before writing anything to disk, you need to log it first.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm creating a table. Let me create a table. So right click on table, right click, new table, graphical. I'm showing you graphical version. Okay.
Yes.
So whenever we create a table, so for example, I'm creating a simple table. Table is student table, column. So this is serial number. Otherwise, student ID. Student ID. Student name.
Correct.
Okay. Student location. So ID is one. Student name is Hari. Location is Bangalore. ID is 2. Student name Ravi. Location is Hyderabad. Okay, this is a simple table. If you want to create a table, this type of table in SQL Server, you need to define the table first.
Okay.
How to define table? How many columns are there?
Define means fields, columns, rows like this, or?
Yeah. How many columns are there in this table?
3 columns.
3 columns. Column number 1, student ID. So what are the data type you are storing in it?
Numbers.
For example, I am storing numbers. For numbers, we use integer. Okay. And name. For name, we use character.
Character.
How many characters you are expecting? For example, I am expecting 10 characters.
Okay. Maximum length you are giving.
Maximum length.
Okay.
Location. This also characters.
Character.
So for location name, I am giving 20.
Okay.
Okay. So column name. Column name is serial student ID. Student ID.
Okay.
Data type. This is character.
Integer.
Character means okay. Integer. Correct. Integer. So next name.
Name.
So under name, you can give character only, or if you give nchar, that means numbers also allowed.
Okay. Okay, fine. Like
Okay.
Gaurav 1, Gaurav 2, like that.
Yes. So nchar I am giving. So simple table. We have given student ID, name, location. I am closing this.
Okay.
Save this. So whenever close this, it will ask for name. So I am giving table 1. Click on OK. Now table 1 is created.
Okay.
Just a minute. I will make it zoom. You can see easily. So now go to tables, refresh it, open this. You can see table 1. This is table 1. Okay. So how to read this table? Select top 1000 rows.
Okay.
So you can read the table, but there is no information in it. If you want to edit information, click on edit top 200 rows. Okay. Student number 1, name Hari, location Bangalore. Student number 2, name Ravi, location Hyderabad. Close this. The information will be saved automatically. Now see the information. You can see information inside table. Okay, this is
Got it.
pure graphical.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do the same thing through command also, you can perform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right click on the table. If you want to script out the background information, I mean, so I graphically created table, right? So
Mm-hmm.
command wise, how to do that? Click on script table as create to new query. Here you can see how this table is created in command prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see this create table, table name. This is simple thing how to create a table in SQL Server. Create table,
Mm-hmm.
table name. That's it. Create table, table name is table 2. We will create another table here, table 2.
Right.
Okay. This bracket starts from here and ends from here.
Okay.
So we are giving just column names. Column name, data type. That's it. Null not required. Column name, data type, and the data type maximum length. Column name, data type, maximum length. That's it.
So for integer, we need not to define the length. Huh?
Length, yes. Because integer by default, it will take as 4 bytes.
Okay, 4 bytes. Okay.
4 bytes is enough to store all the integer information.
Correct.
Okay.
Alright.
So if you execute this statement, we call it as a statement. Table 2 will be created. See this?
So for
Refresh
execution,
here.
only enter or how?
Here, execute button.
Okay. No, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So shortcut for execute is F5.
Fine. Okay.
You can see from here. This is execute shortcut F5.
Correct.
Okay. Another shortcut is Alt X.
Alt X. Okay.
Alt X. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
So
Thanks.
if I execute this statement, table will be created. The same table I can create through graphical also. So whatever you do graphical in the background, it is command only.
Okay. And so for entering the data here, we have to do like simple that right click and edit.
You can, yes, you can enter data graphically also. You can enter data through this command wise also.
So for command,
for example, let me tell you. So we have created table, right? Table 2.
Right.
To see what information, what is inside the table, you need to use select star from table name. That is table 2. That's it. So if you execute this, you can see inside information. There is no information right now.
Right.
Okay. If you want to enter data, you need to use insert into table name.
Okay.
Values. So what is the value? Student ID 1. Then names, any names under string, any strings under quotes we need to provide. So single quotes we use comma. String means any group of characters. Any strings you need to provide between the quotes. Location is Bangalore.
Okay.
Comma to Ravi. Comma Hyderabad. If you are good with commands, you can remember. Otherwise, just leave it. No need to remember any commands.
So basically, I was.
So you can use graphical also.
Yeah, I was about to ask which way is better.
Okay. So you can get accustomed to these commands because it is very simple command. So as a DBA, you need not to do coding, but simple commands you will remember automatically by using SQL Server and all these things. If you work on this, definitely you will remember simple commands. Okay, I'm executing this command. And 2 rows affected. Now check this table. You can see the information. Why I am showing you these commands is there is a thing I need to tell you. So I told you logging information, right?
Right.
So if I delete this table by mistake, somebody deleted this table by mistake, okay, by oversight. Right click on this table, delete this.
Okay.
Even though you delete this information, if you stored these statements, you can get all your information back with single click.
Okay.
So I stored this information. Now let's see what happens. I am executing all this information. My table is back. Refresh this. See, my table is back with information. See the information inside it? You can see.
So means
So
if
that
we
is why,
have,
yes, please.
yeah, if we have created the table using this graphical, so if by mistake we have deleted it, we can't.
Graphical also,
Okay, for
yes.
graphical also.
You can, yeah, there are ways to recover the table.
Okay.
That is why database managements, DBMS are very popular, or DBMS.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay.
So why I am telling you is this. So whatever you do in database, that information should be logged first in log file.
Right.
So these statements are recorded in log file. Okay. So data, whatever the data, Hari, Ravi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, this is actual data. Actual data will be stored in data file.
Okay.
The information, I mean statements, the information you use it to record this data, that means statements. These statements recorded in log file.
Okay. Okay. So means if we
So that is why you need at least.
If this window is closed, the right now which is open, this SQL query 14 SQL. So if you go to log file from
If
there,
the
we can
window
again
is closed
reopen it.
also,
Okay.
you cannot exactly see these statements. There will be some other form to store all this information. Okay. The information I am showing, I am telling you for example only, but actual information will be stored in log file. So why you need two files in database? One is for to store data. Another file is to store logging information. Anything you write to database, that should be logged first in LDF file.
Right.
Then only data will be stored in data file. Okay.
Correct.
So let me open database. Go to database, right click, properties. So you can see at least two files. One is data file. This is data file. Data file extension is MDF.
Okay.
MDF means master data file.
Okay.
Another file extension is LDF.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to create a database, at least two files required. What are those files?
One is data file and another is logging information.
If you want to insert more information, if you feel this data file is not sufficient, you can create another data file by clicking add. Okay. So give name. For example, this is second data file. I am giving second data file. Second data. Okay. Click on OK. So right click on this, go to properties. You can see second data file. This is second data file. Okay. Automatically the extension given to it is NDF.
Okay.
So first data file is default data file, that is called as primary data file. Extension is MDF, master data file. So whatever the data file you create for your personal use, that is called as NDF. Okay. So to create database, at least how many data files required?
Two files.
If you want to input lot of information, you may need another data file or another data file. Like that, you can create n number of data files.
Okay.
So log files also, if you feel you need more log files, you can create log file also.
Log files will also.
But one log file is sufficient generally.
Okay. So in
So if you
generally,
want
in
to store
which case
more
we
information,
have to, in which case we have to add another logging file? Is it?
For example, you have a lot of data, you feel one log file is not sufficient for you, you can create another log file. So creating more log file is actually not good. One or two are enough for entire database.
Okay.
So we will discuss about log file in detail when we discuss about transaction log architecture. So now we will focus on data file.
Okay.
So after some time we will focus on log file.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. So in a database, at least we need primary file and log file. Primary file, we call it as MDF. Secondary file, we call it as a NDF. Any file, secondary file, second file, third file, fourth data file, fifth data file, whatever you create, we give extension of NDF.
Okay.
Okay. So primary file, MDF, what it contains? It contains startup information of database. So if you want to start database, the main information, inbuilt information of the system, database, everything is stored in MDF.
Okay.
Okay. So log holds information used to recover the database.
Okay.
Pardon?
So it means that MDF, it will
Any
contain
doubts?
the real data.
Not like that. Everything is real data here. What I am telling you is, so if you open this information, so we have open database, right? Even though we don't have, we created one table, two tables. These tables we created, even though you don't create, some system tables will be existed. Let me open this. So, okay, this is personal database. So even though you don't create any databases, there are some system databases, right?
Right.
Open system database, open tables. You can see some tables, right? All these are system tables.
Okay.
So this information is stored in MDF. Okay. By default, all the system information will be stored in MDF. So ideal way is you don't touch MDF. If you want to store your information, you create your own file.
Okay.
For example, GouraDB, open properties. So this is MDF. MDF, leave it as default. You don't touch it. Create another file that is NDF. If you want to store any information, use this NDF.
Okay.
Okay. Ideal way is this, but nobody follows ideal way.
Okay.
So all people use MDF only in real time also. Okay. In some cases, they create NDF also because MDF is not sufficient to hold that information.
Okay.
Okay. So primary file extension is MDF, secondary file extension is NDF, transaction log file extension is LDF. Okay. So now come to types of databases. So there are multiple types of databases: system database, sample database, user database. Sample database is you don't have any database, you want to practice SQL Server, you can download sample database from internet, then you can use it in SQL Server.
Okay.
System database means by default, if you don't install also, if you don't restore any, if you don't put any information also, there will be some information to operate SQL Server, that is called system databases. Whatever you create, for example, we created here some databases, right? Let me show you. So this DB1, GouraDB, Sales DB, all these are user databases. Okay. Now come to files. So files, we discussed how many files required at least to create a database.
Two files are required.
Two files. These two files by default, they will be placed under single disk. Whenever you install, let me open that. So this one, I am deleting this file for now. Not required additional file. Let me open GouraDB properties, files. So these two files, where is it located? What is the path of these two files? Which drive?
C drive. C drive.
C drive. So the design is like this. If you install SQL Server, by default, all the files will be saved in same drive. Because in many computers, you will have only one drive. For example, I have only C drive. This is external drive. This is cloud drive. So inbuilt drive is C drive only. That is why the design is like that. If you install SQL Server, all files will be stored in the one drive only. Okay. So, but in production environments, in real-time business environments, we don't save all files in one drive.
Okay.
We will use different drives for different files. For data file, we use C or D or E, whatever you have. For log files, we will use another drive. That may be L, M, N, whatever you have. Okay.
Okay.
So, in the same way, each file has two names. See, this is also file name. This is also file name. This name is considered as logical name.
Okay.
It is actual physical name. So the naming and everything it follows is SQL server. And this name is considered as OS file name. It follows operating system file convention, naming convention.
Okay.
So in SQL server language, if we speak as file name is Gaurav DB. This is data file name. This is log file name. So actually, physical file name is, if you want to talk about name of this MDF, you need to provide like this. So whenever you call it as a file, operating system level, so you need to tell all the path.
Okay.
Then /gaurav.db.mdf. This is the actual file.
Okay.
Okay. So in programs, we cannot use this much of lengthy file name, right? That is why. So SQL Server given it shortcut name that is called as Gaurav.db. This is shortcut name.
Okay.
This is considered as logical name. Okay. So
Okay.
you can copy this database. You can restore it in somewhere SQL Server with other name also. For example, so this is the database name is GauravDB. So you can copy this database here. You can place it somewhere with HurryDB also.
Okay.
You can restore it with other name also. So this file name will be changed, but logical name never changes.
Okay.
So even though you name it as Hurry database,
The logical
inside
name
it,
is
files you can see, yeah, logical names never changes.
okay.
For example, so in HurryDB also, logical name like this GauravDB on MDF.
Okay. Okay.
So logical names follows SQL Server, physical names follows operating systems. So logical name, OS file name. There are two types of files available. Okay. So, okay. So what is the size of this file? What is the size of this data file?
8 MB.
By default, it is 8 MB. So what happens if 8 MB completes? So there is an option here, auto growth option. So if 8 MB is completed, immediately 64 MB more data will be added here. More space will be added to this data file.
Okay.
So you can define the size of the data file. Open this. So there are two options. One is enable auto growth. If you enable auto growth, so by default, whatever here I have given 64 MB. If you don't want to give any MBs, you can define in percentage also, 10%. Whenever this data file is full, 10% space additional space will be created automatically. So otherwise you can limit this. For example, auto growth 10% will be created. Maximum you can increase up to 1024,000 GB. I mean 1 GB.
1 GB.
So you can limit to 1 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB, or 100 GB, whatever you want. If you don't want to limit this auto growth, you can choose unlimited.
Okay, the maximum size will be.
Maximum size will be taken. What is the maximum size? Any guess?
Maximum size means the file.
Maximum size, I didn't tell you. Maximum size for a data file is 16 TB.
TB.
Okay. For a data file, maximum size is 16 TB. For log file, maximum size is 2 TB. Okay. So if you don't mention any auto growth, I mean any limit to
Message.
database,
Hmm.
it will maximum grow up to 16 TB if your disk supports.
Hmm. Okay.
For example, so I have disk of only 250 GB. Okay, I am expecting 16 TB. That is not possible. So if we have 16 TB of disk, it will support up
Can
to
support.
16 TB, one data file.
Okay. Okay.
If 16 TB completed, you can create another data file in another drive. Okay,
Means
click on add.
the NDF.
NDF, correct, exactly. So this is data2 file. So this is C drive is full. You can click on other drive also.
Okay. Okay.
So I have P drive, click on OK. So you can create another that NDF file in P drive.
Okay.
Whatever drive available to you. Click on OK. So here we are not giving any name. Automatically it will take name. Let me open this. Right click properties. Go to files. So you can see Gaurav DB data2 NDF. This is a log file, sorry. Data2.ndf. So the location of NDF is another drive, not C drive, because C drive is full.
But the
Did you get this?
logical name will be Gaurav DB only.
Logical name, whatever you provide at the time of creation. For example, go to files. So I have given logical name as data2 for secondary file. So logical name always will be data2 only.
Just a bit, somebody.
Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So that is about files. So maximum data file size is 16 TB.
16.
Maximum log file size is 2 TB. Now come to file groups. So if you see here, logical name, file type rows data means data file, log means log file. Okay, size we have discussed, growth we have discussed, path we have discussed, file name we have discussed, but file group we have not discussed. So there are file groups in SQL Server. By default, one primary file group will be there. Whenever you create a database, by default, this file group will be created, primary file group. So under primary file group, MDF will be there. Okay. If you want to create additional file, NDF, you may create the NDF in same file group. Otherwise, if you want to change file group, you can change file group also. For example, click on add. I am adding another data file, that is data3. So I can choose file group. I don't have any another additional file group. Click on new file group. So this is file group FG2. Click on OK. So another file group will be created. Click on OK. So Gaurav DB is under primary file group. Data2 is also under primary file group, but data3 is under file group 2. So why we use file groups? File group is not physical. These are logical things. Physically, they have not existed. They are not existed. Okay. Files are existed to maintain these files, to control these files. I mean, so if you create a table will be created. Table may go to data2 also, data3 also, Gaurav DB also. Even though you mentioned data3, so you are not sure where this file is located in which drive. I mean, C drive it is located, but you want to store in P drive. So you need to mention that file group name. For example, here in this, just a minute. So let me change the path of this data3 also. Okay, graphical we may not change. Let me create another data file, that is data4. Data 4, click on OK. Oh, sorry. Path we need to provide. Path we have not given. So if you don't give, it will take automatically default path.
Default one.
So data 5. So I am giving path here P drive. Click on OK. Click on OK. So now I want to create a table. That table should not save in C drive. It should save in P drive.
Okay.
Sorry again, I have not changed this file group name.
Okay.
Okay, let me change file group. So data 6. Okay, path, change path, P drive, click on OK. File group, I am changing to FG2.
Okay.
Click on OK. Okay, now go to properties, go to files. So if you want to change information in P drive, so if you store, where is FG2?
Data 6.
Okay. So if you give, FG2, automatically it will be stored in P drive. FG2 data 6. Data 6 you stored in FG2. So if you mention data 6 for file name, so your information will be stored in drive. So to maintain data, to organize data, we use file groups. Otherwise, you can do like this. So you can create multiple file groups. Let me create file group, another file group. Create file group. So I create sales file group. All the sales information I'll store in this file group. Okay. Let me create another file group. This is HR file group.
Okay.
All the HR information stored here. Another thing is finance. Click on OK. So this data is sales data.
Okay.
Sales. Okay. So sales data I'll store in sales file group. HR related data I'll store in HR file group. Finance related data I'll store in finance file group. To grouping data files, we can use file groups. Okay. So in real time, why we use file groups? So we use file groups for grouping of data files, logical grouping, allocation control, where the data is storing, C drive, D drive, E drive, performance optimization. So we are changing drives, right? So performance also improved. So if we place all the files in single drive, performance, I mean, there will be contention, there will be competition among resources.
Right.
Okay. To minimize the competition, we can use these file groups and to back up the information. Okay. To partition the tables also, we use file groups.
Okay.
For example, how we can use backup in file groups. So whenever I am taking backup, instead of taking full database, I can take backup of this primary file group, and I can take backup of secondary file group individually. I can take backup of sales file group also. So to maintain database, to get control over database, to organize database, we use file groups.
File groups.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a lot to discuss about file groups, not required in this stage. So this information is sufficient for us. So what we have discussed as of now, how to create database. Under database, what is this? Logical name exists. A logical name, then row file type. If you see rows data, that is data file. If you see log, that is log file.
Right.
File groups we have discussed. These are logical containers.
Size.
And size, growth, how growth pattern increases, decreases, we have discussed. Path, what is the path of the data file or log file? What is the actual file? These things we have discussed now. Let's come to databases. So there are system databases available and user databases available, sample databases available. So let me start first system database, that is master database. So master database, we call it as a brain of SQL server. So if we lost master database, even though you have multiple information, sufficient information, you cannot access SQL Server.
Okay. Okay.
So if you lost your brain, I mean, somebody lost their brain, brain dead people, even though they are exist, even though they are alive, they don't know about them. They can't process information. They are living dead, right?
Correct.
In the same way, if you delete this master database, you cannot connect to instance.
Right.
Because all the system related information stored in the database.
Master.
Logins information, who wants to log in, configurations, linked server, what are linked server we will see in the future, endpoints, extended store procedures, databases residing in other databases residing in SQL Server, everything will be under
Stored
master database. Yes. For example, so select star from, I'm using this database. So how can I know whether I am in master database, whether I am in Goro database? You can see from here. So if you are seeing master here, that means you are under master database.
Okay.
If you want to change the database, you can change like this. So I am clicking master database, select star from sys.databases. So under master database, I have system database information and I have user database, other databases information also. So what is the information I am storing? Database name, database ID, database owner. Okay. When it is created, creation date, compatibility, what is the language setting it is following? Okay, all the information regarding database will be stored in master database.
Right.
For example, if you don't have a master database, you don't know whether this GoDB exists or not.
Correct.
Even though it is existed, you cannot process that information.
Right.
Okay. Select star from we will use to read a table.
Okay.
Select means read, star means column list. So for example, here I am using star. If I use star, all the information will come. If I don't use all the information, for example, I mention only name will be shown from table. Star means all columns.
All the information will come.
All columns. All columns.
Yeah.
Okay. Sys dot logins. So this is all login information, user information, who wants to enter into database. Okay, I log in with Hari name. For example, you have your login information, Gaurav name, but master database is not exist. So SQL Server cannot process who is entering, who is not entering.
Right.
So master database is very important because it has all system configurations. That is why master database will be utilized. Next system database is model database. Okay. So model database, by seeing this image, can you guess why model database utilized?
No. Model means not.
It acts as a template data.
Okay.
It is a model. For example, see here, you have a model here. If you pour anything silicon like substance, so immediately this structure will be created. So it is used as a model to create this statue. Like that, model database also. For example, you created Gaurav database, right? Open this database, go to files. What is the size it has taken?
8 MB.
So how do this file know I should take 8 MB only? Because if you open model database, so model database data file size is 8 MB. It will mimic the properties of model database. Whenever you create a new database, it will mimic the properties of model database. Okay. For example, I created this 10. I edited this as a 10. I make it 10. Click on OK. So model database data size is 10. Data file size is 10. So if you create a new database, that is DB2. If you open database 2,
10 MB size will
that
be there.
file size also
10
10
MB.
MB. So whenever create new database, the database will be mimic the model database properties, and it will create as per the model database. So if you pre-configure any tables in it, for example, there are no user tables in it. I create a table. Let me create a table. So we have a table here, right? So I am creating under model database.
Okay.
Execute this. So it is executed. Let me refresh. Null tables not created. Okay, executed. Refresh this. So one table is here, right? So let me create another database. That is DB3. Go to DB3. You will see the table. So whatever you place inside model database, everything will be taken for new databases.
Means afterwards, no? Once we have defined in that model, then afterwards, whatever database we have
Afterwards,
created.
yes, exactly, correct.
Okay.
Correct. So there is an error. Okay, I got this. So let me stop all connections. So model database is utilizing, that is why it is unable to mimic that situation. Okay.
Sorry. What was the issue? I didn't.
Issue I will discuss detail in future, because model database is in use, under use. That is why new database not able to mimic these properties. So we need to stop model database in
Then
use. So yeah, stop this. So you cannot stop like this. Let me show you. Let's show it. So this is advanced. SP-who2 is a command. So you can see from here who are using, who are not under use. So these are database list. So here, if you see model database is utilized under session 68. So let me kill that session. We can kill that sessions. This is advanced. So no need to think about this in this stage. In future, we will discuss about this. Now you can create new one.
like Linux, no, you have provided that process ID or session ID, whatever.
Yes, correct, exactly. So I'm creating a new database. Database is created. Refresh this. Go to DB100. Right click property. Open this. You can see the table. You have not created this, but by default the table will come.
Means afterwards, under defining that
Because-
model database,
because-
whatever
yes.
table.
Yes. So if you want any instructions, if you want any pre-existing information, that information you can create in model database. Whenever a new database will be created, automatically that instruction information will come along with the database. Is it clear?
Clear.
So master database, all system information, model database, as it is
like a
utilized as a template database. Okay, come to MSDB. So MSDB, so we will take time to time, we will take backups, right? So we will take backups of databases for safety. That backup information, not backup files. So backup metadata. Metadata means data about data. So when backup is taken, where backup is taken, all this information stored in MSDB. Okay, we can send emails from SQL Server. For example, something bad happened in SQL Server, immediately you will get alert email. Okay, that concept is called as a database mail. Database mail information stored in MSDB. Okay, so we can schedule jobs. I mean, automated. We can do automated things in SQL Server. That automated things will be stored under MSDB. Okay, we use this agent. This is SQL Server agent. And whenever we are installing at the time of service configuration, so server configuration, we give data main service account and service agent account also. Did you remember? Okay, we will discuss about it later. So this agent information will be stored under MSDB. Okay. So this is like just like another master database, but it is required for only some type
Information
of
source,
information. Yeah.
mainly
Database mail.
storing the
Yeah.
information.
A database mail, some other features,
Uh,
agent information and backup information. All this information stored under MSDB. Okay. If master database goes down, you cannot operate SQL Server. If model database goes down, you cannot open SQL Server. Okay. If TempDB goes down, you cannot open SQL Server. But if MSDB goes down, still you can open SQL Server. You can open SQL Server, you can work with SQL Server, but the agent information you cannot open. All the agent information stored in MSDB. So if MSDB corrupted, so automation things, whatever we will discuss in future. So all that email information, automation information, backup information will be lost.
but we can perform other tasks inside the database.
Other task we can
Creation
perform.
or whatever additional.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So the other database we need to discuss is TempDB. TempDB is very important database. It will be utilized with all user database also. All users uses TempDB. All system information will be used in TempDB. TempDB is like a storeroom in our house.
Sorry?
Storeroom.
Achha, storeroom. Okay.
Okay. So if you don't have a space in your area, I mean, if you want to perform any dirty operations, you can use your store.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So TempDB is very important. All users uses TempDB. For example, you want to sort information. There is a table. Under this table, information is not in order, alphabetical order. You want to sort the information. For sorting purpose, TempDB will be used.
Okay.
Okay. So you have multiple tables. So from multiple tables, you want to see column number 1 in table 1, column number 2 in table 2, column number 3 in table 3 as a one table. Temporarily, you want to see as a one table.
So that will be done
what I am
as
telling?
temporary.
Yeah, yeah. So that is called as temporary table. You can create temp tables. For example, so this is serial number, name, location of a student. Okay, this is table 1.
Okay.
So under table 2, see, instead of serial number, I use ID. Under table 2, I have ID, subject. Under table 3, I have ID, marks. Subject ID. Just imagine, we have 3 tables. One is name, Hari, location is Bangalore. 2 is Ravi, location is Hyderabad. ID, subject ID S1, subject is English. Subject, okay, ID is 1, subject is English. Subject ID is English E1. Okay, ID is 2, student ID. Subject is Hindi. So H1 is subject ID. So here ID is student ID, subject ID is E1. Marks are 95. Here ID is 1, subject H1, marks are 85. So ID 2, subject E1, marks are 92. ID 2, H2, subject are 100. So we have 3 tables. But temporarily, I want to make a report. So what in my report, what I want student name. I want subject. I want marks. I don't want all other information. So name from this table, subject from this table, marks from this table. So I want like this. One, name is Hari. Subject is English. Marks are 95. I want only Hari's information. I don't want others information.
So with ID, you can
Okay.
short it out.
Yeah, we can do join commands. We will discuss later. So with all these three tables, I derived this table temporarily. Okay, this is the report. This report, I don't want to store in my actual storage. So I open this session, right? Under whenever I am working under this session, this table should be exist. So after deleting this session, the table should be gone automatically. In that scenario, we use temp tables. We will create temp tables. For example, I created this table, right? How to create table? We have table command. So this is table command. Create table 2. So I am creating table 3. So whenever I am creating table, if I mention hash, that will be temp table.
That will be temp
table.
Okay.
Okay. Execute this. Just a minute. You know how to use ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
So if you have any doubts, if you have any issues with formulas or commands, you can use ChatGPT for knowing whether it is correct or not. Okay. So see this table. So I'm creating a temp table. I'm doing nothing here. Create table name. Table name is hash temp cursor. So I choose temp DB here. So execute this. Whatever the table you create, that will be created under temp DB. Refresh. Open this. This table is created under temp DB here. External table, system table, not here. Temporary tables. Temp customer. Okay. If you close this, session, the table will be gone.
Okay.
Refresh this. No temp table.
Right.
So that will be used under that session only. So I am creating another temp table. This is another temp table. Let me use hash. Okay. So if you want to use that session only, use single hash. If you place double hash, that will be considered as global temp table. That means you can use that table in this session also and another session also. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is called as global temp table. Let me create this. Okay. Table 3. So table is created. Refresh this. So this is table 3. So all temporary information, joining, and system internal information, everything with temp DB. Okay. Temp DB configuration is very important. This is not like other DBs. So if you don't configure it perfectly, you may face performance issues. So right click on temp DB, go to properties, go to files. See, by default, it will take multiple files, data files. If you open any other type of database, MSDB or master database, anything, you will see only data file, log file.
Correct.
Okay. But if you open tempdb, you can see multiple files.
Right.
Multiple data files, not log files.
Data files.
NDFs. Why? How many NDFs it will be created? That is depending on my core capacity, processor capacity. If I open task manager, so how many processors I have? Go to CPU. How many processors I have?
Processors.
Here it is.
Oh, logical 4.
4 processors. That is why 4 files it will be created.
Okay. So it depends
So
on the
TempDB
processor.
file size depends on processor count.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To increase parallelism, to increase concurrency, multiple files will be created under TempDB.
Okay.
So if you don't configure multiple files, there will be performance issues. So database is very slow.
Mm-hmm.
So that is about TempDB. So there is another type of database, system database, that is called as resource database. So resource database is not visible. From here, we will discuss tomorrow. So you can see master database, model database, MSDB, TempDB. You cannot see the resource database from here. So resource database is hidden database. Why it is hidden, we will see tomorrow. So I'm stopping recording from here. So today we have discussed how to create